When international buyers handle cross-border engineering projects, they often encounter a situation. When purchasing BOQ bill of quantities items in bulk from China, the final received materials sometimes deviate from expectations. Throughout the entire process of fulfilling a BOQ, there are many stages prone to information asymmetry. In its daily supply chain management, Cantonmade has observed that some buyers increase their project risks because they are unfamiliar with the industry habits of local suppliers. Taking cables and CAT6 network cables, which are highly prone to errors in the list, as an example. Several typical problems are easily encountered when executing BOQ procurement. The communication challenge begins when a buyer sends a BOQ based on international standards to a Chinese supplier. Because there are differences between international cable standard names and Chinese domestic STA, DAR names, an accurate conversion process is required. If the conversion is not precise enough, model matching errors can easily occur in the early stages. In addition, there is the issue of dimensions. Some Chinese suppliers habitually use common economical specifications within the industry when quoting and producing. The dimensions of these specifications are sometimes slightly lower than what international standards require. Take the 24 AWG specificati on common CAT6 network cables as an example. According to international standards, the single conductor diameter of 24 AWG should typically be 0.51 millimeters. However, when some suppliers see 24 AWG, their default production standard might be 0.475 millimeters. The main reason behind this is that reducing the diameter can effectively lower material costs. If the purchasing contract only says 24 AWG without specifically stating 0.51 millimeters, the manufacturer will usually just use the 0.475 millimeter solution during production. When using a fluke test later to check the transmission performance of these network cables, it remains excellent. At 100 meters, it can run fully at 950 megabits per second because it is made of pure copper. But this will still make the client worry because the international standard is 0.51 millimeters, and it would be better to confirm this difference before paying the deposit. Therefore, a safer approach is to clearly mark the exact millimeter figure in the contract rather than just writing a standard code, to prevent the client from being dissatisfied with the standard's execution. The core of a cable lies in its internal conductor material. Common materials on the market include pure copper, copper-clad aluminum, and copper-clad steel. Pure copper cables have better electrical conductivity, and their corresponding costs are also higher. Copper-clad aluminum involves plating copper on the outside of an aluminum wire, which has a relatively lower cost, but compromises on performance and service life. During the initial quotation stage, some suppliers might tend to calculate and quote based on the cost of copper-clad aluminum to make the price look more attractive. If one only focuses on the final total amount when reviewing the quotation, without explicitly requiring the use of pure copper material in the purchasing documents, the final delivered product is very likely to be a copper-clad aluminum cable. This may bring quality risks during later engineering inspections. Therefore, the purchasing party needs to clearly define the specific material composition in the BOQ and the contract to avoid ambiguity. When purchasing cables, people often tend to focus their attention on the number of cores or electrical parameters, while ignoring the requirements for the external physical structure. This is also a detail that Cantonmade frequently needs to repeatedly confirm with suppliers when handling procurement needs. For example, simply stating 4-core optical fiber is needed lacks sufficient information in practical operations and can easily lead to production deviations. The external structure design of the cable needs to be closely integrated with its actual application scenario. For instance, does it need an added waterproof layer? If it is laid outdoors, does it need added armor to prevent animal damage? If it is an environment that requires frequent bending, does the flexibility need to be improved? If it is suspended horizontally, does it need steel reinforcement inside to improve tensile strength? If these physical structure requirements are not clearly explained during procurement and only a general name is provided, the manufacturer will usually produce according to regular basic cables. Once this kind of basic cable is applied to a special engineering environment, it is often difficult to meet the requirements of long-term use. There are many types of cables covering signal cables, power cables, network cables, optical fibers, etc., and also including special cables like RS-485 that require twisted pairs in their physical structure. In cross-border procurement, the communication of technical documents usually relies on English. If information loss occurs during the process of converting English technical requirements into Chinese, it is very easy to miss key details, thereby causing errors on the production side. At the same time, the sales staff of some suppliers might not have a perfect technical background. When giving a preliminary quote, they might not be clear about the detailed technical parameters. For example, they might know the general difference between CAT6 and CAT7 network cables, but are not sensitive to the specific differences between AWG24 and AWG23. Sometimes, to push the process forward as quickly as possible, they might provide a quote based on a rough estimate. To deal with this situation, the buyer needs to prepare a detailed technical contract. Only when the buyer requires strict delivery according to the technical parameters on the contract and clearly stipulates the acceptance criteria and the solutions for non-compliance in the terms, will the supplier pay more attention to the technical threshold of this order. At this stage, they will usually conduct a more detailed technical check, such as taking the initiative to confirm that the current quote can actually only provide CAT5 specifications, rather than CAT6. The occurrence of this phenomenon is often because the early technical communication was insufficient, or the quoting process was simplified to secure the order. Overall, when purchasing BOQ materials in bulk in China, especially for products with many parameters like cables, it is far from enough to inquire about prices relying solely on a basic English model name on the list. To effectively ensure the procurement quality of the BOQ, it is recommended that when the buyer implements the list, in addition to preparing a detailed technical specification sheet, they also need to clearly list the specific dimensional parameters accurate to the millimeter exact materials and specific physical structure requirements in the written contract. Only through complete preliminary technical confirmations and rigorous contract terms can the precise execution of the BOQ be truly achieved, ensuring that the final goods received meet the actual needs of the engineering project.